Are you listening? Damn.
Welcome to another edition of the AFC North Talk. Hey, where are those that were saying they were gonna be late?
Put the chat up. Put the chat up. Put it up. Put it up.
Put it up.
Put it up. Put it up. Put it up.
This here? This one?
And the funny thing is, some of you guys don't know. Sometimes we're having debates backstage.
Yeah, we are.
Like that delay us from starting. So some of the times we're actually here and we're just debating and talking about whatever craziness is going on. We might be talking about Anthony Bennett.
But if you're gonna bet me,
you never know. We might be.
Yeah, don't bet. Hey guys, don't bet. We got a recoverer in here, man. Like, we can't be out here just tempting guys like that. I mean, I'm pretty sure he has like 10. He has a couple of bets out tonight, right? There's 2 preseason games out there. I can see him shaking. You
don't know Q because you were
Let's end on time.
Tony were talking about. Tony said, "Who's playing tonight? Ravens playing against who?" I was like, "That's your boy Malik." He's like, "Oh, I'm betting Malik.
all day. I hope they have player props. They don't have player props.
The Ravens had that streak going on, like 20 in the preseason.
Streak ends tonight.
Oh, and they got Lamar Jr. too. I mean, like they're a formidable preseason team here, right? With with Lamar Jr. back there. So it's gonna be a highly contested battle.
I think he plays a quarter, and after that we have an undrafted rookie.
Lamar playing a quarter?
No.
Is Lamar playing?
He better not play.
No, he's not. Andrews is not. A bunch of starters are not. I think some of the starters they're recovering. Like Boyle might get a couple reps because they're coming back on injury, and they say like, oh yeah, I think I need the preseason. So those guys might get like a little bit, but nah.
Over under if Lamar signs his contract during this game.
That would be fantastic. But I don't think it's happening.
I'll take the over. I'll take the over. It's gonna happen never. So
okay. Hero Hope 5 says Bengals versus healthy Ravens 6 points. So why favored?
I think apparently he's got the odds already, I guess, on the first matchup. What is that, week 6?
Yeah, so it says Bengals versus healthy Ravens, and the Ravens are 6 points favored.
The Ravens are 6 point favorites over
that the Bengals are favored. If they're healthy, then why are the Bengals favored by 6 points?
I don't know. I mean, at this point of the year, if you're betting that game, it's you're in.
That will not be. If it's in Baltimore, that would be like. I think that game would probably be 3.5 or 4.
Yeah, right.
I think it would be 3.5 or 4.
It's probably gonna be less than that.
Yeah, we'll see how they. I mean, they don't play till midseason.
At this time of year, I mean, that seems big.
When is the best time to do this, Tony, from your perspective, right? If you're going to make a bet on a week 8 game, like, is the best time to bet right before, or is the best time to bet right now when nobody has any idea?
Yeah, the earlier you can get the line, the better, because generally the line, lines converge on the right line. So the earlier the better. But, the thing you worry about, when you talk about lines this far out, right, is like, think about what happened with the Ravens last year. Obviously, that was catastrophic, but things like that can happen where you get a major injury, and that's gonna major shift the line. And if it doesn't go in your favor, you're taking. You gotta understand that you're taking that chance. But yeah, the further out you can do it, the better, because lines converge to the correct line as we get closer to game time.
I love how like gamblers talk about taking a chance. Like, brother, you gambling. You already taking the chance.
Some Bengals fan, I think,
I'll be unreasonable.
Bet the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl. I think he won like $30,000 or something, or for like 1,000. I think he bet 1,000. But like later on in the season, the odds change, like Tony said. So you have to get those in like now. Like,
so it's like 2 weeks ago. I bet there's some people really feeling good about themselves. I don't think it's gonna hold, but if you took the under 9.5 for the Browns 2 weeks ago when they still had that up, that's going to still hold even if the Browns get Watson suspended for a year, which I believe that line's probably dipping to 7 or 8, 7.5, 8. With Vegas would seem right with Vegas. So,
but those bets, those bets you want to do now, right? I done bets Ravens win the Super Bowl, right? Those bets you want to do now. The game-to-game bets, it's just too early for me.
Yeah,
you could also. I mean, now is a good time. But if you do want to get a feel, right? I mean, it's hard now, because we haven't seen these teams come together at all, right? So, if you want to wait to the season, the nice time to do it is after the team you believe is going to win a Super Bowl takes a bad loss, or maybe even back-to-back bad losses, right? Think about where the Bengals were a year ago after they lost those back-to-back games, including that Jets game, right? I mean, I'm sure I don't have it in front of me, but I'm sure that line moved drastically.
So you're telling us to buy the dip.
No, Tony gave out the best advice. He was like,
I did. I actually did.
Take them now. Take them now.
I did. I said, if you really believe this, you should bet it.
Okay.
He gave you guys good advice.
You're welcome, Bengals fans.
So we have a couple more super chats. Raven always.
So I need to take the under on every Cliff Kingsbury game past like week 13 is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing it.
The Ravens always bad versus Titans at home. Streak ends. One blue. Take your money.
That's the first bet I've won all year. Last week was not kind.
Not good. Ray Rack here says,
Tony's got to get into regular season form with the preseason.
I'm
just going
preseason for me too.
Two questions here
get
for
reps
Tony.
in, bro.
How did those bets with my money go last week? And did you bet what I asked you to?
Okay. So I lost every single bet last week.
That's impressive.
Thank you. Which is actually impressive when you think about it, because it's basically the same as winning every bet. I mean, it's the statistically very
it's a little different.
That would happen.
It's a little different.
Not.
You come short on the money side, but it's
that's right.
Minus the reward.
That's right. So undefeated in that way. I did not bet the Browns because the line was not up for the Browns to win the Super Bowl. I will check. I will be there again tonight. I will be there again tomorrow. I'm assuming they're going to probably wait for the Watson
every day. He's there every day.
I will be there Saturday. No, I'll be there Sunday. So
it should be up. I think it's going to pop up before this. I think we're going to find out right before this preseason game.
Yeah.
When it comes to team chemistry, the Browns are fourth.
Why do you say that?
This might unite them for all we know, right?
Well, they're the same. They're one of a few teams. I think they're the only team that's had the same offensive, defensive, special teams, and head coaches for the last 3 years.
I see what Hero Hope is saying now.
6 points versus healthy Ravens.
Well, that was without a certain player.
Are the Ravens really healthy though? I don't know.
Yeah, but he's talking about the two games in the prior year, right? Which is like the Bengals.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was thinking about.
Are you talking about the Brandon Allen year?
Yeah, right. I mean, no more
Bengals were healthy, right? I think the Bengals were healthy. Oh, were they? No. Not really. Oh, okay. All right.
The Bengals have upgraded some significant positions.
You can't compare post Jamar Chase versus pre Jamar Chase. Like, it's different.
You should not compare anything of 2 years ago, right? At this point, 2 years ago is a life in the NFL.
Sonny sound like the Ravens GM when they try not to give Lamar that money. 2 years ago seemed like a life ago.
That's an eternity. MVP.
Goes directly from Eric DaCosta. This is what they talk about the Lamar.
Unlike Tony, I'm taking the Ravens tonight. On the Monday.
Oh, boo!
I'm gonna put 100 on it. See if the streak continues. Let's see.
All right.
Q. Why did the Browns work to get $49 million under this year's cap? Who are they gonna use it on? They're over the cap in 23, 24. Any ideas? By the way, they can roll it over. It's not like that.
Singular wireless here. They're on the singular wireless plan, baby.
Precisely.
Rollover minutes.
Well, one Blue, you answered your own question in your question, right? Because you're like, hey, the Browns going to be over the cap. No, they won't, because they're rolling over the cap, right? This is the plan to stay underneath the cap. Also, probably cutting Jack Conklin and Kareem Hunt next year. But that we'll get to that conversation next year.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's why they're gonna roll it over. That's why the Browns have. I've seen so much dumb cat space conversation about this. People not knowing how contracts are structured now in the NFL. Like, and the thing that surprises me with this is like on all of the things with Deshaun Watson. You really don't got to reach to criticize the move. There's not much reaching you have to do. We don't have to make up this conspiracy that the Browns purposely knew that he was going to, and then that's why they structured his contract like this when we know that this is how new contracts are structured now. But yeah, it's just, that's why they're rolling over the cap. I know people have questions. I know the Browns are a different type of front office, but man, goodness, the scrutiny over everything that they do is like getting ridiculous at this point.
The Akuma Show says it's on site.
Hey, they tell me the Bengals don't be thinking about us like that, but boy, them podcasts be telling me different. Jamar Chase, you notice that Jamar wasn't even asked specifically about. He was just like, "Hey, DB Mount Rushmore," and he took that as the opportunity to be like, "I need to get this off my chest about Denzel Ward." He wasn't putting Denzel on the Mount Rushmore. He was just mad about the game. That was some great stuff. I mean, Joe's talked about it. We've seen Jamar is heated up about it. I'm excited to see what this comes to come week 8, right? Because, Deshaun Watson being there not going to affect that side of the ball. Well, I mean, in a way, but not in a way that I can make an excuse of Jamar Chase go off for 230. I can't be like, oh, Deshaun wasn't there. You know what I mean?
Browns will remain a poverty franchise. 3 picks gone. And we have Born Yesterday says Deshaun solidity rating gonna be 69 for sure. Okay.
We got to read some of these.
Yeah. I need to read. Sorry.
Yeah.
I mean, thank goodness Ben's still not like in the league anymore, and like we're dealing with like 2 different blocking situations.
Mm-hmm.
We be playing zone trying to do the damn show out here.
Gonna need some mods this year. Apply. AFC North Talk at gmail.com if you want to be a mod and chat for this year. We're gonna need it.
Yeah, we're gonna need some mods.
Need it.
A quick announcement here. A quick announcement is last year we did our survival league. We're bringing that again. We need to talk to Manscaped so Manscaped can sponsor it again. We'll figure out some price for the winner. It's free. Last year I think we had over 100 people. The 4 of us were there. I don't remember when we
Them damn Bengals. Them damn Bengals.
Yeah.
So you talk about living in my head rent free. I'm losing to the Jets. I've been as hot as Jamar Chase has been about Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome about that damn game that they dropped to the Jets. Why? Why did you do that? The 1 week, I'm like, oh, this is the new wave. The Bengals are no longer the Bengals. Oh, there's no way they dropped this game to no sorry ass Jets. Now y'all drop that game to the Jets. Y'all the sole reason the Jets fans are out here pumping their chest up, thinking they about to sweep the AFC North because they beat the champion last year on some fluke. So shout out to the Bengals. It's not the football why I hate y'all. It's that's why I hate y'all, because y'all lost to the Jets last year, got me eliminated.
I still can't believe we put Mike White in the Hall of Fame, like his jersey.
Literally, y'all put him in Hall of Fame.
Crazy.
You and Tony, I think both of you got eliminated in that game.
Mm-hmm.
No, not you.
No,
I was eliminated by the Bengals. That is true.
Oh yeah, he went Steelers Bengals or something like that.
I think Tony was saying that he might go week 1.
You remember last year that I picked Tyler Heineke on that Thursday night game against the Giants. It was a wacky game.
Yeah. Oh yeah, didn't you squeeze by like the skin? It was such a meme game. It was like they watched AFC North Talk and were like, all right, we're going to make this the most memeable game.
Exactly. I love it.
And this is why, again, during the season, it's just fun. If you like survival, this is very easy. You make 1 pick a week, any team. Once you pick that team, you're going to pick it again. But if you lose once, you're out. I think last year's the champions, there were 2. In week 13, both of them lost, but then we made them pick 1 more to email us, and one of them won. And they got the prize by Manscaped. And again, shout out to Manscaped. We'll talk about Manscaped a little bit later. We have 2 more super chats, and then we'll start the ranking. Tom Brady races 2 franchises out of poverty.
What? What?
The
What?
Bucs were yeah, I mean, this is silly. This is
What?
very silly.
Unless we reach, you don't have to reach. He's Tom Brady. He's Tom Brady. You don't have
Tom
to
Brady's really good,
up.
but like
we don't have to do this. Why? Why? He's Tom Brady. Just say he's Tom Brady, bro. We get it. You don't have to go this hard.
I Noah Stone, I'm sure you have like a little shrine of Tom Brady. I would love if you put a picture, just tweet us a little shrine of Tom
You gonna
Brady.
find out Nova Stone.
At this point, I think Nova Stone is Tom Brady. Like,
Yeah.
Nova Stone is one of my favorite guys. He has a brand, he sticks to it, and
That's
he does find new and creative ways to super chat.
Because he finds a new way every week. To ride that man Tom Brady. Like I gotta give it to him. The creativity is crazy. Like this is TB12 level riding right now. I'm not gonna lie. Like this is impressive, dog, that he is going to these levels. I have not seen something like this since Andrew Filipponi was talking about Kenny Pickett getting drafted. That's the only two. Like, that's my Mount Rushmore right there. Right there.
Pony's tweets are my favorite. I wish I could be as good at tweeting as Pony because he's on another level. He's
I'm like, bro, ain't no way he gonna be this much bait about Kenny Pickett, knowing damn well it's Kenny Pickett. Like they gonna dig up them tweets and kill you in the quote tweets, but he be tweeting them. And at some point, you gotta respect the man willing to stick to his consistency, knowing the consequences that long.
Yeah, it's not even just the quarterback. He tweets about every battle, anything going on with the team, and he finds the right way to like twist it just to get under the Steeler fans.
Like I actually think Andrew Filipponi thinks the Steelers are a legit Super Bowl contender this year. Like I think he thinks that's a legit in his head.
If they started Kenny, he would think. Yeah.
Or Mason. He was a big Mason guy too, right?
No, he hates Mason. He hates Mason. He's the one that started mediocre Mason. He hates Mason.
Okay.
Okay, so Ray Rack here says, I love that the Browns are in the Bengals' head during the offseason. This is a type of rivalry-ish I love to see. Okay, and
it could be one of them things that we gonna wish that we didn't wish for. You know what I mean? Like, being in somebody's head usually works one of two ways. Either you continue or you find out that you didn't want to be in that man's head all day.
Yeah. Can't confirm. As a Steeler fan.
I mean, ask Wink Martindale.
Stop being fun. Stop being fun about
it. Joe Burrow took Wink Martindale out the league. Nobody talks about that enough.
No, he's with the Giants. But yeah, at least with the Ravens.
John Harbaugh was like, enough of Wink.
We're done, Wink. Okay, so I'm gonna actually throw it to Ace, and I just want to see your fourth rank on the comments on the live tweet.
Oh, wait. We're doing defensive line. We didn't announce. We're doing defensive line.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
We're doing interior defensive line. We did edge last week.
Exactly. The edge. Now we go through the rest.
Let's get this fourth out the way.
Yeah. Give me the fourth, Ace. Ace, who's your fourth?
Pittsburgh.
So for me, I was looking at everything. I'm taking age into account, depth into account, the room, and I just couldn't find a way to move the Browns higher than fourth. And it's really been a youth movement for them. Like in comparison to what they had last year, I definitely think that they improved. They brought in Taven Bryan. He's 26 years old. They have Perion Winfrey. I think he was graded as a low-end starter. He's 22 years old. So I think with those two guys, they'll be okay. The issues that I kind of found, and this was per PFF, was Jordan Elliott. That was a bad thing once I saw that.
Oh, we're going to talk about it.
and then Tommy. But the interesting thing that I found, because I really feel like the Browns have the polar opposite of one of these teams. Like they got a bunch of young guys. There's one of the teams that we'll talk about that have guys that are longer in the tooth. But the interesting thing was age kind of came into this as a factor. And I did some research and found that, interestingly enough, players in the trenches, they often maintain their primes a little bit longer after age 30. Like it's not like a wide receiver where it's just straight down the hill. It's not like a running back like that. And the interesting thing that I found is that they usually actually hit their prime when they're about 27. So I thought that was pretty interesting from the D-line Nuggets. But because of that, I had to put the Browns here at 4, but I do think that they are moving into the right direction. I do think that Perrion is going to bring them something. Taven Bryan, he didn't really work out in Jacksonville, but this might be an opportunity similar to Cheeto with us last year, where sometimes a change of scenery is better for that player. So maybe he fits the Browns defense a little bit better than that Jacksonville defense was, because that was pretty much a Ferris wheel with head coaches and different schemes and all of that stuff. So we'll see how Taven Bryan works out. I actually used to like him back in the day, but he hasn't really lived up to the hype at all. So we'll see if that changes anything here. But, yep, I've got the Browns here at 4.
Quick super chat here for Noah Stone. Bengals love talking trash, yet haven't won anything. Okay.
They won the division in the AFC.
That's true.
Well, I mean, that does count, right? They did win.
I mean, that counts. Yeah, I mean,
yeah,
we're only counting
Super Bowl against Tom Brady.
Shit,
a lot of people haven't won a lot of what
right,
Tom
exactly,
Brady's accomplished.
exactly.
Especially the Steelers.
Who's your fourth?
Chill.
I mean, look, I ain't never lost to Tom Brady in the playoffs. So I don't know what they feel like.
Yeah,
you know?
well, there's a reason for that.
Hey, look. Sometimes it's better to have not than have to have not.
I would disagree. Sonny, did you go to me? Or you throwing it to me?
I went to you.
My number 4. Okay, sorry. Yeah, the Browns are here. Look, the Browns are doing the right thing. You look at this was clearly the weakness. I mean, this was not a bad defense a year ago, but they, that interior, that defensive line wasn't good. I enjoyed looking up last year's numbers and just realizing that none of this matters because none of these guys are even on the team. Malik McDowell, Malik Jackson, Sheldon Day. I mean, these are guys who had like 1,400 combined reps on this defense a year ago, and not a single one of those guys. The only guy that I can find is Jordan Elliott. Day is still there?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see him.
I didn't see him. I didn't see him on the Wikipedia.
The depth chart might have been weird though.
Yeah, the depth chart might have been weird, but I've like literally seen him at camp. He's there.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, they're going to rebuild, like Ace said.
Tony's like, oh, doesn't change it.
Yeah, don't move the needle.
Sheldon Day's there. They might move him down.
I don't know why we paused so hard. Like, oh, Sheldon Day, like it was prime and Ndamukong Suh.
Well, hold on. Let me readjust the numbers here. Yep. Like I think Perrion, was a decent draft pick. I mean, they're going to go through this pseudo youth movement, I guess you could call it, because Taven Bryan is in his 5th year now. He just got done with that rookie contract in Jacksonville, and they're going to. I think Perrion's likely going to see some minutes here. They still got what's his name, Tommy Togai or whatever
Togai.
From Togai. There you go.
Yeah, Ohio State.
Probably see some minutes. That's right. Mm-hmm. So yeah, this is a work in progress for them. I mean, they did the right thing in kind of let's just throw it out and start over because that just that didn't work. But it's a work in progress in the rest of these groups. I think the rest of the groups in the AFC North have more entrenched guys who we know we can get. So that's where the Bengals are.
Let me also get it out of the way then. The Browns are 4th. I'm going to take a different take. I agree with everything Ace said. I agree with everything Tony said. It was hard to me to find a player for the thumbnail because I knew who I was going to put for the Bengals. I knew for the Steelers. I knew for the Ravens. And I was like, Q, who should I put? And Q's like, doesn't matter. But what I'm surprised about the Browns, because the Browns have done a hell of a job building this roster. You might hate, you might love the Browns, whatever your opinion is about the Browns is. In the past couple of years, I think they have done a great job putting a roster. But there's a position where it's either they struggle, they haven't found the right guy, and it's that interior D linemen. And it's hard because if they had a subpar D line, like a middle of a pack, it will do wonders for their edges, right? And I feel like, for example, with Baltimore, it's one of the reasons Baltimore kind of they haven't figured out Myles Garrett, but they can put so much resources in Myles Garrett because the interior allows them to do that, right? And I thought this year they were gonna do that, right? I thought this year, like, okay, free agency, because even after Watson, there was some cap space, and I know somebody asked the question, and I'm not here saying like, oh, they should have burned everything on the D lineman, but the investment was minimal. It's essentially the same criticism that the Ravens get with the wide receiving court, right? Well, the Ravens don't put any money on there. It's what I thought the Browns was gonna do for the interior D lineman. And look, I always say it's fair criticism that the Browns don't put any money because we haven't. But I was surprised that the Browns, they drafted Perrion, right? Yep. They waited until the 4th round, but they got their guy. But I was expecting the Browns to do a little more in the interior D line. I think out of the 14, for me, the 4th was the easiest here in this position ranking group out of the division. Q.
Oh boy, I wonder what I'm gonna go with here. Do I go?
You put the Steelers here last year, so yeah. Right? Yeah. Well, you put the Steelers here last year, so I remember. I remember. So. Yeah, he did. You and then he convinced you to do it too. You guys. I mean, whatever.
Did I?
It's fine.
Yeah, man. The Browns are starting Malik McDowell and an old ass Malik Jackson.
Malik Jackson, baby.
I think I somehow finessed like getting Miles and Clowney caught up in there because they're gonna take 3 tech snaps or something like that. Nah, man, come on. The Browns are 4th here. It's not even close. This is not a good room, by the way. They have one ranked player on Pro Football Focus's like grading like of ranked players. 108 defensive tackles. The Browns in this room of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One player's ranked, and he's 101 out of 108. Damn. That's not good, dog. And he has qualifying snaps. Terrible. This is Jordan Elliott, by the way, the player I'm talking about. 400 snaps, and he turned in a what is this grade? 41.6. Well, I don't know what we waiting on with him, bro. He's still starting, but okay. We're gonna play Jordan Elliott. Every time Jordan Elliott's on the field, whether it's all 22 tape or I'm just watching the game live, I know Jordan Elliott's on the field. And that's not good necessarily, given what he's asked to do. But that's what we got here. We got Jordan Elliott, who's probably going to start because who else is going to do it, right? Probably Perrion at some point during the season, but he's a rookie. He's not going to step in right away. And then with Taven Bryan, and we're talking about Tommy Togiai battling out. Look, here's the reality. Browns don't care about whoever plays in this defensive tackle position. It is very clear. They do not care. Their bet is, hey, man, if you want to run at these dudes, you also run it at Myles Garrett and Jadeveon Clowney. Take your bet on that, right? Be less efficient, run the football, run it towards Myles Garrett. See if that works out for you. If Myles Garrett gets injured, knock on wood. If Jadeveon Clowney gets injured, knock on wood. This is going to be a mess. This is going to be an absolute dookie duke mess, like complete mess. But since you have Myles and Jadeveon, you're probably going to get away with it. But yeah, it's not a good room, man. It's not. Perrion, I like Perrion, but even best case scenario, Perrion becomes a day one starter. You got Perrion Winfrey. Who else is coming up? We Sheldon Day's the only other solid guy in the room, right? Like, what is the rotation there, right? Perrion Winfrey, Sheldon Day, maybe Taven Bryant. We don't even know if he's good yet. And then Jordan Elliott with his 41.2. That is so bad that you might as well just sign dudes off the street until you find somebody who could play better, because that is such a below replacement grade at 400 snaps. Like at that point, just sign anybody and the odds are you're probably going to get a better grade. So we'll see. This is the one room where I just don't think it's going to look like this after they make the final 53 cuts. They're going to take from a lot of teams, hopefully, to fill out this room, because quite honestly, from what I saw in camp, Perrion's a good player. He can make the roster. And then Sheldon Day's a rostered player. And then everybody else, I have no idea if their roster worth. I mean, I guess you're going to keep Taven on the roster because you got to, right? But Tommy Togiai, maybe because you drafted him, you keep him on there. Jordan Elliott, maybe because you drafted him, you keep him on there. But I'm not enthusiastic about any of these guys, right? Glenn Logan's the only guy above 330 you have in there. Maybe he makes the roster, maybe he doesn't. Roderick Perry. It's just not a good room. It is not a good room. It is not designed to be a good room. And this is just where the hole's going to be on the defense. We all know it.
Rayback here says, I do remember a bad Browns team upsetting the Patriots team in 2010, but that's about all I got. All hail to the 1-year wonder Peyton Hillis.
Yeah, Tom Brady's kryptonite, man. Peyton Hillis. Never beat him.
Bucks beg on their knees for Tom Brady to save.
This would actually be impressive if Tom would have took the president job at Miami. If he would have actually won the Super Bowl.
Nobody wanted Tom Brady. Remember that? Like, it was like he didn't have like all of these suitors. That was kind of weird. Like, I was surprised.
Remember when Tom Brady wanted to go to the 49ers? But the 49ers was like, nah, bro, we got Jimmy Garoppolo.
We got Jimmy Garoppolo. We good.
We good, baby. Once he get back from this injury, we back. Yeah. Okay. Remember when we used to talk about how the Patriots wanted to get rid of Tom Brady for Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, I don't think kids in 10 years will understand how overrated Jimmy Garoppolo was at certain points of his career.
Well, it was an ego thing. I mean, I think that was more about ego. That was Belichick and Brady doing the whole like it's the how
much ego you gotta have to be like, yeah, Jimmy can replace the GOAT. How much ego is there?
Ray Rack here says Elliott almost always gets washed down the line. I got so bad that you can notice it just watching the game. Okay.
Oh yeah. 91. You could just see him getting pushed back there on any. He changed his body. That's what they're saying. He's changed his body over the summer, so he might be a different player. I mean, he better be a different player in the preseason, because if he looks like what he did last year in the preseason, why is he on the roster?
Quincy, are you saying he's in the best shape of his life? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, 23, bro. I'm not feeling good about that. He's in the best shape of his life. Didn't we catch Jakeem Grant saying that?
Yeah. And
then he popped his Achilles, unfortunately. This is a cursed phrase, dog. I said it jokingly in the mirror. I popped my shoulder. Like I'm in the worst shape of my life. There we go. I'm gonna fix my leg.
Okay, and with that, before we go to number 3, Tony, talk about our sponsor.
Absolutely. If crotch discomfort is hurting your game, fear no more. The kings of crotch comfort, Manscaped, have spent 2 years designing the most comfortable boxer briefs out there. Sleek, soft, comfortable, and flexible. The brand new Boxers 2.0 from Manscaped take your balls to the royal ball throne. The global leaders in below-the-waist grooming have the Lawnmower 4.0 for the trimming, so you can wear the Boxers 2.0 for the chillin'. They even trademarked the jewel pouch, so you know it's serious. I think it's time for you to invest in your family jewels. So let your bulge breathe and get 20% off plus free shipping. But you got to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk at manscaped.com. Let's say you're on a date and your partner catches that Manscaped on the waistband of your underwear. It's almost guaranteed to raise some eyebrows and act like a billboard on the highway to Pleasure Town. This is thanks to their Lawnmower 4.0, the best electric trimmer for below-the-waist grooming. Their 4th-generation trimmer features a cutting-edge ceramic blade to reduce grooming accidents thanks to their advanced skin-safe technology. Beyond ball cleaning, Manscaped is focused on ball comforting with the new Boxers 2.0. Boost confidence everywhere you are, knowing you're wearing the absolute best pack for your sack. I have these boxers. They are by far the best boxers I own. So do yourself a favor. Head on over to manscaped.com. Get yourself a pair. Get yourself a bunch. I mean, they have them in packs as well. And you get this. You get 20% off and free shipping. But you have to use our promo code AFC North Talk. That's AFC North Talk, all one word, at manscaped.com.
Yeah, we've been blessed with Manscaped. They have been great to the podcast. They have been great to us, to the listeners, with the 20% with the free gift on the fantasy.
Indeed.
The Survivor League. But not only that, the products that we have used, they have been fantastic. All of them have been fantastic. I bought some other stuff that from Manscaped. I used the promo code. Everything that I have from Manscaped, it's been good. I mean, legit good. One thing that I think we all have agreed, because we have been approached by other companies, is we want to make sure anything we say, hey, use X or Y, we want to make sure it's good, right? Yep. So we can vouch for Manscaped. Manscaped is good.
What the hell were we doing before Manscaped? That was like savage mode.
That is just,
thank God for Manscaped. God damn.
Do yourself a favor. Do the show a favor. Go to manscaped.com. Use that promo code AFC North Talk.
So Super Saiyan Soup says Hootie, and then why does it feel like everybody in the media wants us to get Jimmy G when everybody on the Browns has said if not Deshaun, then it's Jacoby Brissett? Yeah, Q. I will always say Brisket. I'm sorry, Brisket.
The Jimmy G jokes aren't as funny when your team's on the receiving end. I'll say, Q, you're muted.
Oh no, they're still funny because he's not good. Like I don't care what team he plays for. He can play on the Browns. I'm still gonna make them Jimmy G jokes. Like he's not. He's just not good. And look, here's why the Jimmy G thing pops up all the time. To people who don't care about the advanced metrics, right? To the people who are like, but he wins. He wins so many games. It makes them feel better, right? It makes them feel like that Jimmy Garoppolo is a better quarterback than what he is, right? But that feeling ain't gonna mean shit when he's playing for you week 6, right? And that's what I'm saying. It's not a matter of if you get Jimmy Garoppolo surrounded by the right people. I'm telling you, he's been making his teams worse for the last 2 seasons. You can see it. He is not a plus at this point. He's at the same exact number of turnover worthy plays with like half the number of big time throws of a Baker Mayfield. What are we doing here, dog? Like, he don't even take care of the ball. He's not even a game manager. He's a game throwawayer. That's all he does. And he just had surgery on his throwing shoulder. And this is the dude you think gonna save the season? Is Jimmy Garoppolo? Why? Because he won some games in San Francisco? Yeah. How did that work out for Jared Goff, right? Oh, he wins. He's been to a Super Bowl. Oh, yeah. He can't be that bad. They win with him. Then they trade his sorry ass to the Detroit Lions. And what ends up happening? Jared Goff is exactly who we've been telling you Jared Goff was, because it's exposed. Now you want to do the same thing with Jimmy Garoppolo? Please bring Jimmy Garoppolo. I want Jimmy Garoppolo to play next year so people can finally stop talking about Jimmy Garoppolo and we can move on and add him to the list of Joe Flacco and Andy Dalton and veteran quarterbacks who just sit around and don't play no more because people don't have realistic hopes in them being them old starting selves. I don't know how we've gotten this far with the Jimmy Garoppolo thing, but it's one of the most illogical, non-rational thoughts that Jimmy Garoppolo is somehow going to save the season for the Cleveland Browns when seasons have only been saved from Jimmy Garoppolo in years past. You talk about the Browns wanting to take a risk on Baker Mayfield to get rid of him. The 49ers took a risk on a dude from North Dakota State, 3 first-round picks, just so they don't have to play his sorry ass no more. Went to the NFC Championship game and still didn't want him back to be a backup. And they could restructure his contract the whole time, dog. No. I'm not a fan of this Jimmy Garoppolo stuff. Of course, since I'm not a fan of it, I'm going to have to watch this stuff, and they're probably going to move for him. And I'm going to have to break down this Jimmy Garoppolo tape and argue with y'all while I'm pointing out this is why he's not that good. Oh, Quincy, but he won. Kareem Hunt probably had 300 yards that game. That's probably why. But y'all want to do it? Y'all want to do the Jimmy Garoppolo? Don't listen to Q. All right, bro. Bring in Jimmy Garoppolo, but don't complain to me when he look exactly like the lemon I've been trying to tell y'all he is. But yeah, come on, keep writing them articles about Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't get it. Jacoby Brissett at this point, I think he's probably I think he has more upside than Jimmy Garoppolo at this point. That's to say that Jimmy Garoppolo has no upside. Like, I'm not even saying Jacoby Brissett has this amazing upside. I'm just saying it's better than Jimmy Garoppolo's, which is nothing. Okay, sorry for the rant. I know we're trying to keep time so Tony can make his bets. But goodness gracious, this is Jimmy Garoppolo.
Listen. Wait, we got a whole season of this, baby. I can't wait.
Is anybody betting the over because the Browns got Jimmy and Garoppolo? Like, is anybody?
I actually think real talk. I told this to Tony. I said he's about the same as Jacoby Brissett, but we found another of Q's buttons, and this one can be a reality in the Browns. So I'm actually now pulling.
Yeah, just trade for Allen Robinson too, right? You know, let's just underperform on purpose, right? You know what I mean?
Great article in the Ringer today about Allen Robinson. I'm going to send it to you, Q.
Oh, is he balling? I bet he's balling. He balls with it, don't matter all the time.
Quarterback hell. They said he's escaped quarterback hell. Yeah, he's ready to turn it back on. So
no, we'll wait till the end of the season, see what kind of articles people are writing. Just like we'll see what articles, because the Browns could trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy Garoppolo does exactly what I think he's going to do. And people are like, I can't believe the Browns made such an irresponsible move trading for Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, oh yeah, it turns out he sucks, right? Somebody was trying to tell you.
A couple super chats, and then we're going to throw it to Ace. 49ers drafted a goat farm instead of the real goat in 2000, so they will remain a poverty as they've been since 94, as Tom Brady keeps giving away Super Bowl rings. Shanahan literally ran the ball almost every play in the playoffs game.
In a 2-minute drill. In a 2-minute drill. Okay. You know how sorry you think your quarterback is and how untrustworthy he is in your mind that you're like, I'll give the ball to Rasheed Mostert. I'll give it to Rasheed Mostert with 140 left, and I got 2 timeouts.
Mostert was hurt. It was that wasn't it Elijah Mitchell?
Yeah, I think it was him. Yeah,
it's happened so many times, Tony. Like he's done this consistently where he's like, I'll run the ball like down 3, 2 minutes left. I'm just saying, man, it's not a good idea. I get why people feel like it could be a good idea, but I'm trying to tell you, it's a terrible idea.
Yes, we got a heel Q promo. This is all.
Oh yeah. You want Hill Quincy? Let the Browns trade for Jimmy Garoppolo, and I wait till like 4 or 5 weeks in of me watching Jimmy Garoppolo. You'll really see some venom. You thought my Baker stuff was like mad during the summer. You ain't seen nothing.
And Noah Stone's on fire today. Brissett and Jimmy, recipients of Tom Brady charities of Super Bowls. And last one, but Q, if we get Jimmy G, Kareem will get that stats to get extended, and Chubb gets a 2,000-yard season. Okay.
We're trading for a quarterback so we can run the running backs more.
Ace. So we can bring it back. Who's your number 3?
So this is where it got very competitive, right? Because I feel like these top 3 teams, there's not much separating them, so you have to kind of look at certain things. So one thing that I looked at, like I talked about, was age was like a factor, right? And one of the things that was interesting is it said that players usually start to decline after 33, right? So when I'm looking at this, obviously we've got some older guys that are playing the defensive tackle position. And because of this, and this factor alone, I went with the Ravens here. So I went to Calais Campbell, right? And I'm looking at him, and I looked at, because they said, after 32, they start to fall off. So when he was 32, he had 10.5 sacks. The next year at 33, 6.5. The next year at 34, 4. The next year at 35, 1.5. This is the most interesting thing. He played 3 more games at age 35 than he did in the season that he was 34, and he still had 3 less sacks. And so for me, I don't know if I can treat Calais Campbell like he's still going to be Calais Campbell that we've grown to know. I do like Michael Pierce, though. The other thing that confused me, though, is Michael Pierce, I saw that he had the 78.5, and he's usually a nose tackle. I don't know what his role is going to be in Baltimore. I also like Travis Jones, but I saw that he lost 30 pounds or something. So he's still going to be a nose tackle. Yeah. Michael Pierce is still a nose tackle. Yeah. So that means I don't know how much Travis Jones is going to play. I really like Travis Jones. I feel like his best fit is a 2-gap nose tackle. He had a 6.3 grade as a starter from SIS. I thought that, he has a lot of upside, but obviously Michael Pierce is a great player. So I don't know how much 2 nose tackles are going to be on the field at the same time. So that also played a factor. Justin Madubuike hasn't really he hasn't been super bad, but he's kind of just been average, just a guy. Broderick Washington, he's kind of a little bit better than just a guy. But I really feel like we're probably going to get a lot of Calais Campbell, Michael Pierce, Justin Madubuike. Mack, I tried to take into account, but I don't know what his role is going to be based off of injuries from last year. So I've got the Ravens here at 3.
Tony.
So that's interesting. I really expected that you guys were all going to go Steelers at 3, because so when I originally did these, the way I did the list was I originally just wrote out kind of my thoughts, without looking at anything, just kind of, okay, just generally speaking, where would you put these teams? And I had the Steelers at 3 originally, but I moved them up as I started to run the numbers. They went ahead of this team. Yeah. They went ahead of the Ravens. Yeah. And then look, this is not a slight on the Ravens. The Ravens had one of the best run defenses in the league last year, and it started up front for them. Calais Campbell may be 37 years old, and I think he's slowing down as a pass rusher. The numbers bear that out. I think he had 31 pressures and only 1 sack a year ago. But that doesn't mean that he's a bad player at this point. I mean, I obviously, when you get to the age that he's at now, athleticism starts to become more of a concern. And even though it is a straight line to the quarterback from this interior defensive line, the line gets a little longer, doesn't it? It feels, certainly, I'm sure for Calais it feels a little longer. But they've added some players that I like. Matabuke, I think is the kind of Raven where I think we're all just waiting because at some point it's going to pop, right? At some point, this is what they do. I think the Travis Jones pick, everyone else in the division kind of groaned when they got him because Brandon Williams retired this year, right? He's no longer on the team. Is that right?
I don't think he retired, but he's not with the team.
He's not with the team. Okay, so you go from like, okay, Brandon Williams, we know was so good for them for so long. And all right, they're gonna have a little bit of a problem there. Now, okay, they got Travis Jones, cool, sick. So there's just like they just immediately roll into the next. Yeah, exactly. I mean, they were a spectacular run defense a year ago. From a pass rush perspective, I don't know that you would call this group, a top group. I don't think that they're, like I said, Campbell probably is lacking. I think Matabuke could be someone who pops as we go, as I said. But yeah, for me, as I ran the numbers for the other two teams, I had to put the Ravens 3. So that's where I have them.
Okay, so for me, I was thinking about this because this top 3 teams are competitive. The 3 teams really didn't add that much like big time free agent, like that game changing player that just you brought into that D-line, right? You might have drafted a guy here or there, and I taking account rookies because that's what we said they were gonna do this year.
Yeah, it's unfair.
I don't disagree. I have actually the Steelers here. The Steelers might though have the best interior D lineman in the division. They might have the best interior D lineman in the division in Cameron Hayworth. But after Hayworth, all these other guys that I like, by the way, former Ravens are there. Big Warren and I'm blanking the other dude's name.
Larry Ogunjobi. But he's not a former Raven, but he's a former other. He's the only.
He's an AFC North All-Star.
Yeah, exactly.
He's signing with the Ravens next year.
You know what's funny? I've always felt like he would be a good player on the Ravens. That's a one team he's never been on in the AFC North. He's been on every other team. Like
he's making the round
next year. He'll be there.
Carlos Davis was the other one that I was thinking. Right. So 2 former.
I think Carlos Davis was signed by or was drafted by the Steelers. I think he was a 7th round pick by the Steelers.
Didn't he?
I'm relatively.
I think you're thinking of the Carlos.
Okay, but regardless, I did like Big Worm. I remember when we traded Big Worm to the Steelers, and I think Big Worm has been decent for them, right? For the Steelers, but I feel like there's something missing. I to be honest, I don't know what it is because I actually think this D-line has a good players. But I feel like when I play the Steelers, I know that my running game between the tackles is going to be good. It's going to be good. So I cannot in good faith put them here above either the Ravens or the Bengals because the Ravens have the weakness of the pass rushing side, right? And then it's hard to rush from the interior of the D lineman. It's obviously we have Donald there in the Rams that is killing it, but that's an outlier, right? Nobody, it's very hard to have an interior guy that can pass rush like that. But what you want your interior D lineman to do is don't let holes crease in the interior, right?
I have a counterpoint.
Don't right. That's what you want because if a running back can get to in that B gap quick, then opens that play action and your team gets in trouble. That's the reason why I put the Steelers here at 3rd. Not a bad unit. Again, my life I cannot figure out why They cannot be better against that running game. But yeah, that's why I have them third. Tony, you had a counterpoint before I go to Q?
Well, I've had this theory, and I actually, what's funny about it is I brought it up on a show like a week ago, another Steelers show I was on, and the guy I was with like enjoyed the take, and then someone went on my I did a YouTube video yesterday, and someone went on that video yesterday and posted like a long thing exactly with my theory about the Steelers and their run defense. I don't know. Do you want me to do it now, or you want me to wait till I talk about the Steelers? Oh, let's wait.
Okay.
Let's wait. Let's wait
when I
till
talk about the Steelers.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Q, go ahead, man.
Well, Sonny, I think you hit something right on the head here. That's why I'm putting the Steelers here at 3. Cam Hayward is excellent. I'm not slandering Cam Hayward anymore based off of his performance in the 2020 playoff game. He kind of came back strong from that whole thing. I don't know, Tony. Tony, you say second on the team in the sacks with the team that has TJ Watt. Probably a strong recovery here. But nonetheless, Steelers are pretty good at pass rushing from their interior, right? You look at a guy like Larry Ogunjobi, he can get downfield. Yeah, I like that. You know what I mean? Chris Wormley, he can get downfield a little bit. I mean, Tyson Alualu he didn't really play much last year, so I don't know what to expect out of him. He was the run stuffer of run stuffers in 2020, but was he injured or something? Like what?
Yeah.
Last year.
Torn bicep last year, I believe.
Ooh, that's a tough one to come back from. Yeah. So, maybe
it was a knee. I don't remember.
Oh my goodness. Why are you playing audio? Hold on. She needs to get out the way.
Cat started up the one.
Yeah, she started off the Denzel Ward video. So anyways, then you look at this team's run defense performance, and it is not the Steelers defense of old now, is it? I mean, we're talking about, just team wide, there are some grades here that are just shockingly low when it comes to run defense. Well, Devin Bush is probably like the most shocking one here with a 27.2 run defense grade at stand-up linebacker. That can't be playable, right? Like you can't have him on the field with Bam. That's bad, Devin. But I mean, you brought in a bunch of dudes here who could get to the quarterback a little bit, but goodness gracious, girl. You are anxious. Okay, hold on. Oh my God. She is jumping. All right. So you brought in a bunch of guys here who could get after the quarterback a little bit. And I understand there's a philosophy in Pittsburgh, but these are guys who are also notorious for being terrible in run defense, like Miles Jack and Larry Ogunjobi, who 34.7 in what was that? 238 run defense snaps. I mean, the Bengals was feeling that, right? Like every time Larry was out there, they ran the ball. He's still doing them same things, and he's coming back off of an Achilles injury, so we don't even know if he's going to be starting for y'all. That's the only thing, right? If they were more well-rounded in their run defense, I would feel more comfortable putting them above a Baltimore, because honestly, to me, I feel like your pass rushing ability from the interior, unless you're like Aaron Donald, I feel like it's very overrated. I feel like it can be very overrated. Or Aaron Donald or Cam Hayward, right? Unless you're a double-digit sack guy from the interior, I don't really care how many sacks you get, right? Like, I don't think it matters as much. And I think your ability to just hold the middle down when it comes to quarterback scrambles, when it comes to runs up the middle, when it comes to those kind of things, or just maintaining the pocket so your edges can get there in time without giving up space for the quarterback to step up. All that stuff is more important to me in how I view the room. And the Steelers being that bad at it, despite having the best player, the best D tackle, technically 3-tech, I'd say, in the division. That's why I would probably put them there. Even though the Bengals do make an argument there for one of these players being a little bit better, but there is an argument there that I'm not going to win with people who care about sacks.
Okay, we get a couple super chats. Q Sunny, do you think Kyle Hamilton will be a bust?
He'll be all right.
I mean, it is too early to tell. I will say Charlie Kolar was the pick that I hated the most out of the Ravens draft.
What? That's my boy.
Charlie Kolar. I like Likely, but my second that I did not like the most was Kyle Hamilton. Not because what he will do. We'll see what he does. My biggest problem was you brought the 32. I'm blanking. The guy from the Saints.
You brought Kyle
Marcus
Hamilton
Williams.
to replace
Williams.
Patrick
Thank
Queen,
you.
dog. You brought him as a Patrick Queen.
Nah, we'll see. Well, I mean, we'll see.
Mean. That's mean. That's uncalled
We'll
for.
see with Kyle. But one of the things that the Ravens usually do, they don't start those guys right away. They didn't do it for Marlon Humphrey. They didn't do it for.
Well, they started Pat Queen right away. Boy, was that good.
Well, Pat Queen, they did start because they were super light on the interior linebacker position. But in the case of Kyle Hamilton, they probably just gonna put him in packages while he adapts to the game speed and all that. But we'll see.
Yeah, adapting to some speed.
I know. Everybody saw the video, and
that video is like Jamar Chase dropping balls in the preseason. It's probably going to be ridiculous in like 3 months, but we gonna laugh at it while we can, right? We in the moment.
Sammy Football here says, you would think as Browns fans, people will know how bad he is.
No, because Browns fans think any level of quarterback play that's better than Tim Couch is amazing, right? Like, it's just, no, man. No, we would not. We are the exact demographic of people that would want to trade for Jimmy goddamn Garoppolo. Okay, that is a fact. We are definitely the market. I mean, this is traditional. We signed the original Jeff Garcia. I mean, the Jimmy Garoppolo, Jeff Garcia. Like, we've done this, dog. In a year where you could have had Big Ben just right there. Ben never forgot, by the way, that we did that. So, that didn't haunt us for like 20 years, whatever it was. It's just...
whatever it was. Professor Kale says,
18.
What would be worse is if the Browns do great and the media says it's all because of Jimmy.
Yeah, the Browns shouldn't continue their contract with Watson and just go on with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like, Jimmy Garoppolo.
I can see it now. It's Colin Cowherd, and he says, why would a Browns team who just made the divisional round want to bring back someone like Deshaun Watson, such a despicable human? They have a perfectly good quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo in their room right now.
I'm gonna do let's do the Colin Cowherd thing for real, where it's like, sometimes in life, you think you're gonna marry one person, but you meet somebody at work and they really just blow you away. And each day you're at work, you just start to realize maybe they're the one. That's the situation the Cleveland Browns find themselves in with Jimmy Garoppolo and Deshaun Watson. Deshaun was the one that they committed to. They married to him, but Jimmy's the guy that they met at work. And you kind of like Jimmy more.
Man. Colin.
Love it. I need that.
There you go. That's your opening for tomorrow's show.
Oh, yeah. I've been giving Colin gold for years.
I know this is really far out, but do you think the Browns want a D tackle or a wide receiver first in the draft next year? Well, they don't have a first round.
Dog, they never drafted a D tackle in the first round. They waited to the fourth round in the year where they had nobody. Think about how this roster looked like before they had Perion Winfrey on the roster. They waited to the fourth to take somebody.
They also took the kicker before.
They almost took the kicker before. They took the D tackle in the same round they took the kicker, which tells me at that point they was just picking dudes, right? Like they didn't care. Man. They traded out the second round for all it. No, they don't care about the defensive tackle position as much as I pound the table for it. They just don't care.
Yeah. They were picking dudes. Okay. Number two.
They picked a running back, a kicker, a running back on a team that has like 5 of them, a kicker, and then Perion Winfrey in the 4th and 5th rounds, back to back to back. Don't tell me they were caring about the picks. They were just picking dudes at that point, man.
Hey, who's your number 2?
For me, as much as I wanted to put the Pittsburgh Steelers there, the difference between them and the Bengals here for me, with the fact that they have on their team the top 3 guys in the entire division for sacks at the D tackle position. They have Larry Ogunjobi, who had 8. They have Chris Wormley, who had 8. And they also have Cam Hayward that had 11. Now, I thought about Hayward, but Hayward is right on that line at 33 years old. So he might be going off a cliff this season, but based off of the season that he had with the 11 sacks last year, he actually was the one guy that was actually good against the run for them last year. They get Tyson Alualu back, who had an amazing grade in 2020, but he is also 35 years old. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt on that. I think he could probably fall off a cliff as well. I mean, we'll have to see on that. But the real thing that really got me up on them is DeMarvin Leal. Like, I really like him. He's got a grade of a low-end starter. He's only 22 years old. He's versatile. Oh my God. He's got good hand usage. So I think that gives them the edge for me, for them. And I'm going to have to put the Bengals at number 2 because we got B.J. Hill, who had 6 sacks last year. We got DJ Reader, I think one of the best noses in the game. There's still some question marks with Zach Carter, even though I like him. He's kind of graded out from SIS as a backup position flex with starter potential, but we haven't seen it yet. I still think that he can do some things there, but that's remaining to be seen. We haven't seen anything from Tyler Shelvin really yet. That's one of the things I'm going to be looking at the preseason game tomorrow. He's a nose tackle. And then you got Josh Tupou, who kind of came back down to earth last year. So now he's kind of an average guy there. So when I look at that room, there's no way, even as a Bengals fan, that I could put that over the Steelers. So the Bengals are number 2 for me here.
Okay.
Can I ask Tony a question real quick?
Yeah.
I know this ain't about linebackers right now, but like, is this Devin Bush, like, is he as bad as PFF says he is? Because this is some abysmal stuff that I'm reading here, man. This is some of the worst.
We're going to do a linebacker show next week. We'll talk about it.
No, wait. We'll preview it.
There's a reason that option didn't get exercised.
I mean, there's the option. There's being bad that the option doesn't get exercised. Like, that happens if you're like, okay, Josh Jacobs didn't get his option exercised. Then there's like, yo, man, like, if you weren't a first round pick, I don't know, you'd be on the team still. And this is 34.4 on 795 snaps, dog. He has a 22nd.2.
Forget the grade. Here's all you need
is
to know.
Is he as bad on tape as this says he is? Like, that's why I'm asking.
Devin Bush is in a position battle right now to keep his job, to keep a starting job with Robert Spillane. So.
He's probably not going to win that because Spillane is clearly a better player than him.
Yeah, I don't know that he's going to win it. It's certainly a battle at this point. I mean, it's a battle. So
Tony, I would just
what happened there?
Whenever the Steelers want to trade up and steal a player from the Bengals, you know,
yeah, exactly.
You know, Mason Rudolph, feel free, go ahead and steal him. We're good.
Hey man, we all have the story. We once traded up to save the Steelers from drafting David Njoku just so they could take TJ Watt. It's just a great world when you trade up in front of the Steelers. You know what I mean?
Appreciate that
one. Ray Rack here says I didn't mean the first round. He made the first pick. I think receiver probably.
Receiver. Yeah. You have Deshaun Watson. Load up the room.
Yeah. Okay.
Or they go draft another DB.
yeah. They have a type.
Yeah.
Let's draft the slot corner in the first round.
There you go.
Who's your number 2?
Number 2 for me, boy, am I shocked that Ace put the Steelers number 1. That is, I am shocked that the Steelers got a number 1 ranking on this show today. Yeah, like I said, when I originally did this, I had the Steelers at 3. But I looked at the numbers. I was like, okay, well, I got to put them ahead of Baltimore, and I got to put them ahead of Cincinnati too. I have Cincinnati too. Look, this is a good room, and it should be said how good DJ Reader has been for this team since he got on there, right? I mean, an absolute monster in the middle of that defense. Obviously, I think losing Ogunjobi is going to hurt them from a pass rush perspective up the middle. And I don't know enough about the Bengals roster, and kind of obviously they didn't go out and acquire anyone new. They got the kid Zach Carter from Florida, but I would doubt that he's going to play the same minutes that Larry Ogunjobi did a year ago. So the question for me is on passing downs, right? When Reader has to probably come off the field, what happens in those situations? And I think that's probably an open question in Cincinnati at this point. But BJ Hill was good for them after Ogunjobi's injury. This was a quality unit. By the way, we gotta ban someone in chat. I don't have the thing, but there's a.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, we got a little bit of spam coming in. Like I said, we're good. AFC North Talk at gmail.com. Email us. We want moderators. We're going to need them this year, as you can see. So look, this is a really good unit, and I had them number 1 at the beginning, but for some of the reasons that he's talked about and other reasons, I have the Steelers 1, and that left the Bengals 2.
Okay, I agree here with Ace and Tony. I had the Bengals 2. I like Reader. I think I don't like Reader. I love Reader. I think Reader is a excellent player. But similar to the Steelers, after Reader, right? I like BJ Hill, and then it starts tapering down. And I was thinking when I was ranking this, I was like, man, I think if you're a Ravens fan, and I'm pretty sure. I mean, and I've been trying to be fair. All these pick, I actually this is gonna be my first time putting the Ravens first, in a while, and I was like, I can see the argument for the Bengals being first. I can see the argument for the Ravens first. It all depends what guys do you like, right? And I do like the Ravens D lineman. I think it's one of their strengths this year. I think we'll see a couple players take a step up. But before I go there, I think the Bengals, different from the Steelers, they're solid in the middle, right, against the run. And last year they were good against the pass rush. The issue here is the best player against the pass rush in that interior D line is gone, right? So obviously that takes them down a little bit. I think BJ Hill and Reader will be fine, and after that we'll see what the other guys can do. The depth is there that if a guy gets injured, if one of those two guys gets injured, obviously you're gonna see a diminishing. But I think they have enough good players that they can put a good rotation and be strong in that the middle of the D line. Again, I think all these three teams were tough for me to rank. So I was nitpicking at that point. And I think when it lands at the end of the day is more for me. I like the Ravens guy in the interior versus the Bengals guy. But that's why I have the Bengals too. I'll talk about the Ravens later. Q, who do you have on 2?
I have the Ravens here at number 2. Like the Ravens room. Of course, they got my boy Matabuke. You know what I mean? I'm believing in him in year 3. But yeah, it's an interesting room with some interesting prospects. Right, you look at some of the known quantities there. Calais Campbell, I mean, the most known of all known quantities. He's like 85, still playing football, still screaming "Yes, sir" at camp. Calais Campbell, right? I mean, he's going to probably play until he's 40. Michael Pierce, pretty solid player. I mean, they always have these solid guys. And just the Matabuke, right? I mean, it's hard for a player before their 3rd year on the line of scrimmage to really show anything because of that strength difference that most of these guys have to deal with coming into the league. Like, unless you're somebody like Jordan Davis or something like that, like it's going to be a struggle because the strength is not going to be there right away. And then you have somebody who's intriguing, like Isaiah Mack, Travis Jones, and the trust that they're able to develop these guys. I mean, I don't know. I just haven't had a Ravens D line that looked terrible in a while here. You just kind of trust them. Now, again, they got new coaching, so that could change, but I don't foresee it changing. I think they're probably going to be a real solid run defense, real balanced team. And I think they're probably the most, I would say outside of the team, I'm putting number 1, they're the most balanced team in the division, obviously, but they're pretty good there on that front. Yeah, they're respectable. They don't have the shine or the shimmer of Pittsburgh on that defensive line because you talk about Cam Hayward and some of the star potential that Cam has here. But I think still very, very solid player. There's a fear that Calais takes a step back. And I think the youth for another team is probably why I would go with them over the Ravens, but it's still a really good room.
Okay. And y'all put in the chat who is your number 1. And actually, if you're watching the replay, also give us your ranking. We love to read those comments in the next day or the days follow. So Ace, tell me your number 1 and why.
Yeah, it's the Steelers. Like I said, I feel like the Wormley stuff caught me off guard, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't know
Isn't it weird?
8 sacks last season. Like, you gotta think about that. Like, Larry Ogunjobi and him had the same amount of sacks. That threw me off. The Larry Ogunjobi thing, there is the injury concern. From what I heard behind the scenes, with the whole like physical thing, is that I heard that apparently the screw that they had from the surgery broke in his foot. So that was one of the reasons. And I don't know if they had to do the surgery over again, but it was a possibility. But that's what I heard from some people close to the situation. But still, if he comes back and he's, half of what he was last season, I think with that group, you also throw into Marvin Leal, who I was, again, high on coming out of this draft. I think that gives them the best room. I mean, you look at what they have. Tyson Alualu, like I said, we haven't seen him in a year. I don't know how he did that at age 34, but apparently he could not be moved. They did lose Stephon Tuitt, so obviously that's a huge loss. But I think they took that money and basically replaced it with Larry Ogunjobi. Adams, I think Montravius Adams or something like that.
Montravius Adams, yeah.
He's pretty much average. He's still young as well, 27 years old. And then you also have, now this guy wasn't really good. Loudermilk is probably not getting many snaps on this defensive interior, but yeah.
PFF wasn't kind to him. I thought he was better than PFF said, but
when I saw that they had the top 3 guys from the AFC North from the 2021 season, and then I saw Leo, and then I saw that Alu came back and he was one of their forces for that run defense. I was just like, damn, I got to put the Steelers number 1. So that's why they were my number 1 team.
Tony.
Okay, let's talk about this because I've been workshopping this hot take theory for a couple of weeks now. The Steelers had one of the worst run defenses in the league last year, right? They were 27th in DVOA. I think by raw numbers, right, just by yards per game, I think they were the dead last by yards last year. But here's my question. Are we sure that didn't help them? Are we sure that wasn't an assistance to this team? Because how did the Steelers want to win games last year, right? They wanted to what? They wanted to play really ugly football. We want to shorten the game. We want to play really ugly football. We want to keep this game into the teens and maybe the 20s, but definitely not the 30s, right? And so you got a really bad run defense and teams come in and go, we can exploit this team. We can run the ball. And the Steelers are going, cool. Yeah. That sounds good. You want to run the clock? You want to like, instead of 4 play drives, you want to take 12 play drives? Yeah, cool. Yeah, we sign up for that. Yes, I would like to co-sign on your gameplay. I look, and I know that sounds silly because obviously this would have been a better team if they had a good defense. Obviously, right?
Yeah,
it's not like yeah, but I really do think that like in some ways this helped them, especially near the end of the year, right? You look at some of the games. You know, they beat the Browns twice. They beat the Ravens twice in these style of games. These were the style of games that they were playing. The Titans game is a perfect example. The Titans ran all over them in that game.
To be fair on that front, both those teams weren't throwing the ball well at that point in the season.
No, but they came to
the ball wasn't really much of an option versus the Browns when the Browns were out there with Baker last year. True. And the same thing can be said for the Ravens once Lamar got that ankle injury.
Yeah. Well, the Week 17 game, yeah, I throw that one.
Tony, are you saying that they took a page out of the Los Angeles Chargers book where it's like we're just going to let you run? Is that what?
I don't think Mike Tomlin like legitimate. I don't think this was a legitimate strategy, right? I think this is one of those things where it's like a happy accident, because look at the time, right, when I'm watching the Lions of all teams, just run right through the Steelers, it's like, God, this feels bad. But the further away I get from it, and I think about how that's, again, how did a team last year with a Ben Roethlisberger, who we all said all year was washed, a running back in Najee Harris, who was running for his life because they had one of the worst offensive lines in the league, a team at wide receiver that could make no big plays down the field, right? They had no explosion whatsoever. And then you're talking about a defense that had this terrible run defense. And I'm sure when we get to the secondary, right, we're gonna trash this secondary. I'm sure you guys are gonna get on Minka for some of the plays he made last year, right? So the question I have is, how did that team, with all of these things go wrong for them, end up 9-7-1 and in the playoffs? Well, I think one of those negatives.
Anomaly. I agree.
Right. Well, but here's my theory. I think one of those negatives wasn't a negative. I think it was a positive. I think that the fact that teams wanted to run the ball and teams shortened the game for the Steelers actually played into their hand. And so, look, I don't know.
Wait. So using Tony's logic, I'm changing my pick. Browns are number 1 because now we're forcing teams to run the ball at Myles Garrett. This is by design. And the Browns will go 17-0.
Yeah.
Multiverse
now, so
reach.
I'm telling you, it's. I know this sounds crazy, but it's one of those things where, how do you explain 9-7-1 with the team that they had?
Tony, the best thing you can do with that take is pronounce it, like say it, but like do it in Jeff Goldblum voice, and it makes like even more sense when you do it like that. You're like.
No, I need to do the meme of what's Brian Windhorst, the whole the like, why would they do that?
What's going on?
What's going on here?
What's going on?
But I think Yeah, I think exactly. Why are they trusting this run defense to Tyson Alualu again at 35 years
Why
of age?
would they sign Larry Ogunjobi to plug the run stuff in hole? Right?
Well, look, they're not going to do that. I mean, as far as like Larry Ogunjobi being like this, he's going to save the run defense. I think Tomlin even said in his press conference before preseason started, when he was asked about Ogunjobi, he said like he's a rush specialist. It's like, okay, he's going to come in those.
It's third down.
Yeah, exactly. Come on down, Larry.
3 down. All right, let's go.
I do think though, man, like the fact that they got this defensive line should be third, pushing fourth. Right? I know they have Cam Hayward, but beyond that, last year, you look at what happened to them when Tua decided he wasn't coming back, and obviously all the tragedy that happened with him and his family. And then Alualu went down, and you're talking about guy. I mean, obviously Chris Wormley stepped up last year, but beyond that, I mean, again, we're talking about a rookie Isaiah Loudermilk. We're talking about guys like Henry Mondo, Isaiah Buggs, Carlos Davis getting minutes for this team. I mean, by the way, those three guys, Isaiah Buggs, not even on the team anymore. Carlos Davis will not make this team, and nor will Henry Mondo. This team is, they're going to
those guys get into a fight on the sideline about playing time during the game.
Carlos Davis and Isaiah Buggs, yes, they did. Yeah. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. They were fighting over playing time, and they both suck. So look here, but the numbers here, when it comes to this pass rush, you talk about adding Ogunjobi to this room. I mean, Cam Hayward had 61 pressures, right? Which, by the way, if you take Ogunjobi out of the room and you look at the next two guys, 61 pressures, Calais Campbell and BJ Hill had 31 and 29. You add that up, that's 60. Okay. Again, Cam Hayward had 61. You talk about the next best pass rushers on the interior in this group. You have to add their numbers together to get what Cam Hayward was able to do. And then you add Larry Ogunjobi. Now let's talk about Chris Wormley for a second. I don't think anyone here is going to really go out and, oh man, Chris Wormley, what an underrated pass rusher. No, right? No one's saying that.
Yeah, he is. When I saw that, I was shocked, bro. I was shocked. When I saw that 8 sacks, I was like, all right, this is a glitch. What the hell?
He better have bought TJ Watt something nice for them 8 sacks.
There you go. The thing that we always say about TJ, right? They're like, oh, well, TJ gets the benefit of playing around all these other players, right? I think that's the case for Chris Wormley. Chris Wormley had the benefit of playing, on a defense with Cam Hayward, right? And with TJ Watt and with Alex Highsmith, right? And with
quarterback got to run somewhere when TJ flanks the right. And then here's Chris Wormley here to wrap it up. Like, right. Them sacks that some dudes just get.
Chris Wormley's not a talent. No, I would say he's a talented pass defender, but he was kind of the beneficiary. Solid player. 27 pressures, 8 sacks last year. What's Ogunjobi going to do in his place? And, there's this concept in if you guys play card games, there's a concept in drafting games called hate drafting, right? And it's where as you're looking through the cards, it may not be a card that you want for your game, but it's certainly a card you don't want your opponents to have. And I think when there's 2 players that the Steelers were able to add this offseason, that I understand, like no one else in this division is going to want Larry Ogunjobi because been there, done that in Cincinnati, and certainly been there and done that in Cleveland. But man, I think the AFC North made a really stupid decision letting Larry Ogunjobi. I think he's as long like you said, the injury's got to be healthy. But man,
the Bengals did want him back. It was talked.
Oh, they did.
They left like the jersey thing open, but it just like after those deals started coming out with the guaranteed money for like the wide receiver position, they just couldn't commit anything else to it.
Gotcha. You talked about DeMarvin Leal. I think DeMarvin Leal is a player I'm interested to watch on Saturday. He's had a couple really nice days at camp. And starting to work in now with the 2s and even the 1s a little bit. I thought he was going to be a redshirt. This is a guy who had to go from 270 to 300. You talk about the athleticism that he has. He's got to learn to play with 30 extra pounds, 10% extra body weight. But I thought he's been playing really well recently. So yeah. So for me, look, the Steelers are the number 1 defense here. I don't think their run defense is going to be as bad. I think when we start talking about the linebacker group next week, I think that had a bigger, just as big a part as how bad their D-line was. Their D-line was bad last year. But their D-line improved a lot year over year, just from the additions of guys like Ogunjobi, guys like DeMarvin Leal added to this room, and and Tyson Alualu hopefully being healthy. Montrevious Adams, another player who didn't play till midseason. They acquired him from the Saints practice squad midseason. Played some decent minutes for the Steelers down the stretch, but now he's going to have a training camp to kind of work in here. So I like this room. I think this is going to be an improved room, and that's why I have the Steelers number 1.
So for me, I have the Ray. Oh wait, let me read this. Ray Rack says, "Why do Jets fans think they are sweeping this whole division? Did they get a Darrell Revis level
Because the
player?
Bengals, man. The Bengals let the door open. The king of the division.
It can't happen unless they start Mike White. What do they not understand about this? That is the final.
When do y'all play the Jets?
It's in the first 4 weeks. Everybody plays them in the first 4 weeks.
I
See,
think
we got them at the right time because after week 8, they're gonna put Mike White in. But
the Ravens are the first to play them, I think, out of the division.
We played them week 2.
Yeah, and Bengals week 3.
Yep.
And I think Steelers week 4. Yeah.
We're gonna be looking at Pittsburgh like, boy, Mitchell, you better not drop the ball against these bums. You better sweep them. You can't be out here.
Up with that.
Find George. Mitch, find George.
Hey, George Pickens down there somewhere. I'm gonna just.
That is a legitimate strategy at camp.
Well, I know you saw because you were at practice. Apparently, he jumped out of a tackle. Like he did.
Jumped. Oh, it was so cool. It was so cool. It was James Pierre. James Pierre had him around and he just jumped out of it. It was absurd. George Pickens is like
James Pierre. Let me.
If George,
hey, look, man, it's a cold game. Love moves fast, and Tony's heart went from James Pierre.
That T-shirt in the trash.
This is a George Pickens thing, not a James Pierre thing. I will say this: if George Pickens is not at least a good player, I don't know about great. I mean, he looks spectacular. But let's cool it down. Let's just say this: if George Pickens is not at least a good football player, I'm never attending training camp again because what is the point of watching? This will be my last time at camp.
Either George Pickens is a really good football player or the Steelers might have the worst secondary in football.
Yeah. But he's
that could be true, Quincy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's why I be seeing. I'm like, yo, he is dominating so much more than I've ever seen him dominate at Georgia. And I'm just like, either the Steelers secondary.
Go back and watch his freshman tape. He's doing a lot of this.
He was pretty good as freshman, but it's still like he never had the numbers that you would expect that George Pickens have, given his athletic profile. Given he got suspended like every year of his life at Georgia. Because I remember he missed half of the SEC championship game in 2019 because he got in a fight the week before or something. He always doing something.
Dog in him.
Right now, I believe in Pickens.
By the way,
you remember
that's
when
the start of the camp fight.
I remember when the Bengals, they were like, "Oh, this edge room looks crazy. Like they're just amazing." And then it was just that the Bengals 2016 offensive line was just complete trash.
There's always that trap.
That's why. Yeah.
There's always that trap, right? Everybody's talking about how good the Browns defense looks, and I'm like, I hope they mean against the shot, right?
Okay, Professor Chaos here says, Tony, I told you the over was a lock, so tonight I will go with the Titans versus Raven money line, also under 32.5.
Lock it in.
I see with it.
Lock it in.
We're
almost done here. I'm lock that in tonight.
I love how our viewers and we're betting preseason now. We
I like the Ravens in this game. Didn't you guys have 11 picks? Like they're gonna have some talent out there, dog. Like
Malik Willis, though. Wait.
We gonna sleep on the fact that the Titans won the 1 seed last year with the most injuries in football. I mean, they're deep, dog. They're deep. They had sustained all these injuries.
That is true.
Malik Willis. They got what Treylon Burks playing, right? He's not good enough to not play. Yeah, so he's gonna play.
I heard he's been struggling, so we'll see how that.
Yeah, he threw up during mini camps, but I don't know how he's been since then. But yeah, man, came out.
He's no George Pickens, I'll say that.
He traded AJ Brown. That's gonna be.
Let me.
Sonny, one more guy.
Now, Tony's running the risk here because the more he embraces this George Pickens, the more it makes me reminisce on Dante Moncrief, right?
Of course. I expect
you know what I mean? I really hope that doesn't happen for George.
I do have one more guy to talk about at Steelers camp. I don't know if he's going to make the roster, but he's making a case for himself the last couple of days. How about Miles Boykin out there? Mossing a couple of dudes.
I saw that.
Yeah, man.
Miles Boykin is the training camp MVP, man. I remember watching him at Ravens camp.
One-handed behind, like,
he catches everything. That's the word on Miles Boykin in camp. Not during the season.
Wow.
Not during the season in camp. But
he could be wide receiver 6 for this team. He could be wide receiver 6.
You know what I mean? He can't get separation.
Tom Brady, that's how you know you to go when you like, look, I got some things going on and I need some work-life balance. I'm just, you know what? I'll just show up at the last game of preseason and then I'll be back.
Tom's time off.
Oh, yeah. Tom taking a sabbatical during training camp.
Well, I have heard. Okay, hold on, stop. I have heard it might be because his parents are sick. Just an FYI. So.
Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay, so let me go with number 1. I had the Ravens. I like the combination.
Sonny and I are homers. Sonny and I are the homers on this.
Yeah. I like the combination of youth and veterans that they had. Calais Campbell. Yes, the pass rushing numbers hasn't been what he did. I think also the Ravens had kicked him inside a little bit more than what he was playing with the previous team. What he does though is those batting balls, baby. I mean, he won us a game or two this past season, just battling the ball at the end of the game, right? He blocked the field goal against the Colts, and there was another one that was in the last minute drive and a third or fourth down that he also blocked. Calais Campbell is also a great leader. I mean, the young guys say it all the time. They learn under Calais. Then they bought Michael Pierce, right, to substitute Big Baby, right? Younger. We had a moment when we were playing both Big Baby and Michael Pierce, so I wouldn't be surprised if they have Travis Jones and Michael Pierce at the same time for
run outside zone on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna make you run to the sideline, big fella. Ain't no way, dog.
They
let's go.
They tried that with Pierce and Wills, and sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Hash. I am calling the most egregious screenplay to the numbers that you slip screen, baby. Let's do it. This is the time.
Those little motion handoffs, little flip play.
Let's do it. Let's do it end around. Let's see what's up. You know what I mean? Everything to the numbers.
But not only that, so with Pierce Younger, nose tackle, Travis Jones also, Calais Campbell there, and then we brought Brent Urban. He was a draft pick by the Ravens 4 or 5 years ago. Another super tall guy, big body guy, similar to Wormley, similar to Calais Campbell, big D lineman, and then Matabuki. That's the one that I want to talk, because I think you hit what I was gonna say about him. Ravens third rounder or later defensive tackles usually blossom in that third year. This is his year to take that step up. This is the year that Derek Wolfe is not there, so he's gonna be a starter. He was in and out in the starting lineup, right? The Ravens rotate that D line a lot. And then the same thing with Broderick Washington, another guy that I'm looking to see what he does. Last year he flashed. He was a 5th-round pick 2 years ago. So this is the year also that you want to see that impact of that D line. I think the Ravens, the D line might be one of the deepest positions that they have. And they have a couple young guys that they're gonna see what do they do, right? Yes, everybody knows Calais Campbell, but from Calais Campbell after him, a lot of young guys, very hungry. I'm expecting them to have an impact this year. So I had the Ravens number 1. Q, let's wrap it up with you.
Bengals 1. What? I know I said it twice this year. It's crazy. Look, the growth for me. You know what I mean? I've overcome my searing Bengal hatred, right? Apparently, to give the Bengals their props here. But yeah, I like this Bengal room just because I like the depth of it and I like how balanced it is. DJ Reader, I think he's a real balanced dude there. He's 79.5, good at run and pass rush. Not gonna ask them to, like, it's not the same thing as Pittsburgh, right? Where they want downhill gap guys who are just gonna open up and make you throw the ball real quick into one of their DBs to kind of do that, because Pittsburgh's kind of built in the opposite way that Cleveland is right now, where Pittsburgh's like, we need to get as much pressure as possible so our DBs do not get exposed for a long period of time. The Browns are like, no, we feel like we have good DBs. We just don't want people, feeling like they need to run the ball, right? Because that's going to be a problem. But yeah, it's interesting when we look at it. The Bengals are probably the most balanced thing. They got Cam Sample as a prospect that we can see whatever's going to happen with him. I think BJ Hill, really solid backup. I think they got better at the defensive line after the Larry Ogunjobi injury during the playoffs, just because you just had more kind of well-rounded play out there consistently by putting both those guys on the field at the same time. And Josh Tuatopo, he kind of stepped up in that moment too. So it's a solid room there. I like DJ Reader and BJ Hill as a 3-tech combination more than I like some of the other combinations here. And again, this is a hard one to do because some of these teams have nose tackles. So we're evaluating 2 starting positions over theoretically 2.5 because nose is no longer really a starting position in the NFL anymore. So there is that difference. But if I had to go with any of these lines, well, interior lines, I would probably want the Bengals one the most out of all of them. Also, given that like all these guys, I believe, are under 30, right? I think the oldest one is Tuatopo at 28.2. I love that we put ages in decimals now. That's great, right? You know what I mean? I'm 28. I'm 27.0 until the day I turn 28. So don't put no decimal on me. But I think it's a good room. I like this room. That's all I really got to say. So Bengals number 1 for now.
So here,
Sonny, do you want the show rankings? I wrote them all down.
Yeah, let me read this, and then the injury report is the MVP of the Browns camp. By the way, also, since so many people look like they're betting the line, basically any Raven that has any hint of being in the starting lineup in this season is not playing today. Okay?
Oh, you know what? I had a thought. We haven't talked about this injury yet, but has anyone ever seen Joe Burrow throw the ball without his appendix? Because I haven't. I don't know how he's going to look.
I've seen it.
I don't think we're talking enough about this.
He's thrown it to. It wasn't a serious throw, but he did have 2 throws. It was just not to anybody important, not in pads or anything. But he did throw the ball.
I don't think we're making a big deal.
I don't know, Tony.
Making enough of a big deal about this.
Given that you're literally every day you watch a quarterback throw the ball that has no hands, like you know what I mean, like.
Has anybody seen Mr. Trubisky throw a ball?
Has anybody seen Kenny Pickett's
throw a lot?
hands?
hundreds over the past couple of weeks.
Tony, when you out there and you sit on that hill, can you see Kenny Pickett's hands from out there, or does it look like a football just floating between 2 palms? Like,
how did he do it? Did he throw with his elbow?
Yeah, it's like
others' hands are bigger than Kenny Pickett's. We were talking about Kenny Pickett's.
It rained today at practice, and
then I pulled out the tape measure, and
Kenny was slinging it.
Kenny Pickett had the same hand size. Just look at this. This is Kenny Pickett right here.
Play quarterback.
I struggle gripping a football. I do struggle gripping the football. I will say.
Put 2 gloves on. Put 2 gloves on.
Yeah,
now try to throw it with 2 gloves on.
The glove demon.
Put 2 gloves on.
Is he getting those stretches, the hand stretches Brandon Allen used to do to like get his hand length longer? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay, what is the rank, Tony?
Ranking time. Cleveland comes in at number 4, unanimous number 4, the only unanimous selection here. Baltimore comes in at number 3. They were ranked number 1 once, number 2 once, and then number 3 twice. Steelers come in at number 2. They had 2 number 3 rankings, 2 number 1 rankings. Math on that is easy. Comes out to an average of 2. And then Cincinnati is our best defensive line in the division, even though they were they were the second best by 3 of us, and then one of us had them number 1. I think the math checks out there. Someone in the comments will probably correct me, but it's Cincinnati 1, Pittsburgh 2, Baltimore 3, Cleveland 4. That is the AFC North Talk ranking for the interior of the defensive line.
Tony, did you agree on every single position? Because I feel like
I did. Well, you kept stealing all my points. You continued as soon as
you got mad when I said the AFC North top 3 sacks.
Yeah, you did. I did because I literally, where is it? I literally have an entire sheet of, no, that's not it. I have an entire sheet of paper. Look at that.
Tony, that's your social security number.
I got like the sack totals up here. You know, I don't know, you can't see it, but I had the whole thing prepared. I actually came prepared today, and Ace did a great job.
So Ray Rack here says, according to
Sonny and Q, next time, step your game up.
Watson will accept an 8-game suspension and a $5 million fine to resolve the NFL disciplinary case.
Well, that's good to know, huh? Okay,
Yeah, cool.
I'm pretty sure he would accept anything under of indefinite suspension, right? I'm pretty.
We would like you to be suspended indefinitely. Well, I'll take
this is like when I would get a whipping from my dad, and in the car, I'm like, "Look, man, just take the video game away from me. Ain't no plea bargains no more, man. Like it's."
This was like when it was Baker Mayfield would accept the trade to the Colts, but the Colts did not agree.
Yeah, it's like, oh, did you talk to the Colts about this before you put them in there? Yeah,
Who
it's
was
like
the mutual was it Seattle? Was like mutual disinterest?
No, it was the Panthers.
It was the Panthers.
Oh, it was
Mutual disinterest.
Yeah, it was the Panthers. It was the Panthers.
Mutual disinterest is my favorite. At the end of there. Oh gosh.
You talk about one hell of a summer, man.
Oh man.
I don't get no breaks for covering the Browns during the summer. Either we trade for Odell or we fire everybody and hire a new coach and GM, or this, right? Like it ain't never been normal for me. That one of these off seasons. Maybe last year's off season was the most normal it got, and that was COVID. So man.
I have one more thing before we go, because we talked about this last year. Are we changing the logo? Are we really doing the thing we talked about, the logo?
Put the last place team as the L. I lost the template to the logo, so that'd be a lot of work.
It's okay.
Stripes up off of that L, dog. That's stripes off of that L.
Nah, man, it looks the best on the L. It does. It does look the best on the L. It's hard because you're the only team with a recognizable pattern. And so the Browns and the Bengals have to be the T and the L. And I'm not putting the Bengals as a T. We're not doing that. The Browns will be the T. So yeah, I can't change it. I can't. It's just
all right, we'll leave it. I guess.
Blame the Ravens and the Steelers for having really boring templates and not having any recognizable patterns. That's all.
Sports, but best logo in sports, but
it's a terrible logo. Well, okay, stop this. Steelers try.
We got. Hold on, I got guys.
I think we should just go ahead and make Pittsburgh the L, because we know Mitch Trubisky
half game out of first. Half game out of first.
Oh, wait. I'm not letting this go. How is it the best logo in sports? Explain to me how this is the best logo in sports.
With the three little logo in sports.
How? They stole it from the steel company. It's not even a good logo.
It is steel. It's not stolen.
Well, they co-opted it.
No, it wasn't co-opted. It was mutual agreement.
It was mutual. It was mutual interest.
It represents the steel workers of Pittsburgh, who, that industry. I'll just say this. I haven't seen a lot of steel mills out here recently, but
I mean, as much as people act like the helmet for the Browns makes absolutely no sense, that shit did never make sense what the Steelers logo was. I remember looking at it as a kid, like, what is this? What is this?
At least I like it because it's one of the few mascots, or whatever you want to call it, that actually represent the city now. I mean, we've had so much relocation and whatnot that you have these kind of crazy.
And the orange helmet doesn't represent the city of Cleveland.
Does Quincy and Sonny have to flip a coin for the L?
No. The Ravens were in last place. We are out of this conversation.
The Ravens were in last place.
Yeah, the Ravens were in last place. The Browns have been in third place comfy the last 3-4 years. You know what I mean? That's one thing I say about Baker Mayfield. He's kept me away from the L. But nah, man. It's the Ravens that might have to be in that L. It's just it looks so good with the Bengals. It's the L. That's just the most aesthetically pleasing lineup right there.
Nah, bro, we getting up out of there.
Nah. I'll put it like this: if the Bengals win the Super Bowl, I'll make a new logo.
Rebrand.
Yeah. Like when CBS has the Super Bowl, they change up the whole graphics package. I'll do that. If the Bengals win if a team in the AFC North wins the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? So it's probably the Bengals because we all know the Ravens' history in the playoffs. But
there you go. There it is.
Look, Lamar Jackson is going to be an MVP candidate. He's going to dominate the league, and he's going to be great.
Remember last time that my Ravens QB was in this position. Oh, you remember what happened?
Oh, okay. Contract year?
Super shot here.
So we're going to say Lamar. See, Joe Flacco had no argument to have a contract, so he couldn't be disgruntled. A disgruntled Lamar Jackson?
We shall see. I have been saying for this for a long time. The Browns will never let us have any fun at any point during the year.
I mean,
for that. We posted.
We had fun for a long look. We got a lot of fun in at the end of 2020. I'm not even gonna lie. Look, after they beat Pittsburgh in that wild card, we had a summer's worth of fun. We didn't know that we weren't granted that fun, that we were leasing that fun from a lender because the debt has come
check
up.
Came due. Yeah, check came due.
Yeah, check came due. Didn't know we was running this off credit. Yeah, I mean, thought we was getting that off debit, but nope. No, we were paying for it. We're paying for it, man.
Okay. Saying that, guys, remember next week we're gonna have probably the linebacker group rank. Also, make sure you follow us on Twitter. We're gonna put all the details about the league on Twitter, and we're so close to 8K. Make sure you share this content.
Are we not there yet? Hold on, before we leave, subscribe to the channel. Get us over 8,000. Let's go.
Yeah,
let's go. Get us.
We would like to see us over 8K before next week's show. So, anything else? Nah, we don't have time. Take care, everybody. We will see y'all next